world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great. Best of luck tonight.
Oh yeah, thank you.
All right, Jared, thank you very much. You see the profile of Malik Monk, unbelievable athlete who can really score. And Coach, you faced him in the SEC this season. What does he bring to the table?
Every word those guys on the desk talked about elite Monk. He's an elite shooter. Malik Monk is an elite shooter. He doesn't do a lot of other things that I'd like to see him do. But when it's time to get a big shot, and he gets it off so very, very quickly, he can light you up. And he's got great range. And, of course, that's a commodity that's important in the NBA. But does he impact the game in other ways? He doesn't defensively yet. He doesn't off the bounce yet. He's not a terrific passer. He's got to get a little stronger. He's got a little tougher. So he's going to be limited right now. How much he develops, I think, is going to be very important. I'm not as big a Malik Monk fan as I am De'Aaron Fox.
We're talking
the impact he can have.
Talking about a Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford sort of profile.
Well, yeah, but I think Crawford could get in the lane and big boy a little bit. You know, I think he'd do some other things. Right. Malik Monk is the best shooter in the draft, but he may not be many of the other things.
Yeah, it's going to be. The guys that you talk to about him say, and they always talk about Jamal Crawford as a possible comparison down the road because he doesn't have this yet. He doesn't have the wiggle in him, but he can flat out shoot the ball. So you look at Dallas at 9. Long-term solution perhaps to Wes Matthews at the 2-guard spot because Wes is further along in his career. So I think that's a landing place potentially for him tonight.
All right, we'll keep it going here on the air for 2 hours in our draft preview. Danny Ainge, the linchpin of the draft in pretty much every draft for the foreseeable future, getting ready in their draft room tonight in Boston.
Juan Rodriguez Chavez and his family fought to become American citizens. He wasn't born here, but that fact never once crossed his mind. The 4 times he put himself in harm's way to save the men who were. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit.
Trivago makes it easy for you to find the ideal hotel for the best price. Just go to Trivago, type in where you want to go, and with 2 clicks, select your check-in and check-out dates and search. You can then easily compare all the hotel rooms that meet your search criteria and find the room that is ideal for you. Remember, Trivago shows you all the different prices for the exact same room. And that's how you can be sure that you find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
The all-new Volkswagen Atlas. Seats 7, sleeps 6. Life's as big as you make it.
It's 1 a.m. and you're still awake. You're worried about a wide-scale breach, hoping you're secure. Hope isn't a security strategy. Effectiveness is. Hope will protect this seal against shark attacks. Haha, lights out, seal. But what if the seal can track the shark's every move? See where it hunts, where it lives. Advantage? Seal. Cisco gets security. They built the network, and now, well, no big deal. They're building the most effective security architecture on the planet, which means you get a good night's sleep.
Captain. 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 Dave. Captain Dave. Captain!
Listen up, basketball fans. Mountain Dew and the NBA are taking 3-on-3 hoops to the next level. The Do NBA 3X Tour is back, and it's coming to a city near you, bringing you fast-paced basketball action you won't find anywhere else. Come watch local legends go head-to-head as they compete to play on the national stage. Bring your friends, and don't miss out on the hottest hoops competition before it hits the road. For tour dates and locations, visit DoNBA3X.com.
Here are the top point guards in a class known for point guards, according to our Scott Howard Cooper. Number 1, of course, Markelle Fultz. Here's Jared back in Brooklyn with the number 5 man on that list, North Carolina State's Dennis Smith.
Well, Dennis, looking sharp here, man. Tell me about what you're rocking tonight.
It's a suit from Alba. Me and Joanna got together and we put this suit together, so it's a good fit for me.
Looks like the bow ties are the in thing tonight. Everybody's bringing it back.
I was the first one. Everybody want to be like me.
Oh, you set the trend.
Right.
Do you just like send the group chat out?
Nah, they seen me first and everybody went and put one on.
How you feeling tonight, heading into what could be what will be a turning point moment in your life?
Right, I feel very anxious. I'm blessed to be in this position. It's a life-changing experience, so I'm enjoying every moment of it.
I got to imagine it's interesting to hear people compliment you, talk about what your strengths are, but also the critics. How do you manage and balance hearing all that stuff?
You just got to believe in yourself. You can't really have too much of anything. Too much of anything is bad, so too much positive, too much negative will steer you the wrong way. So I just focus on what I know I can do.
How much of a difference maker are you going to be for whatever franchise picks you tonight?
A great difference maker. I'm looking forward to winning a lot of games.
And obviously that's the big thing. That's right. You don't want to just come here and be a basketball player, and people are looking at what happened at NC State and wondering if you're going to be able to win at this level. Why are you going to become a big-time winner here?
Because I learned a lot from playing at NC State. It was a learning experience, my first losing season ever in my life, so I learned how to bounce back and keep my head up.
All right, well, he's bouncing back, and he's the first one to have a bow tie out of all the draft picks tonight.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, the New York Knicks could be in line for Smith. This is the list of point guards who have started more than 5 games since Jason Kidd retired. That's a significant list. So should Dennis Smith be the next guy on this list, Coach?
Well, I think he's the next best point guard, but I don't think the Knicks take him because of the triangle. I don't think he's a fit for the triangle. Right. I did talk to Mark Godfrey, and he told me that Dennis Smith is a terrific player and an elite athlete. He thinks he's just terrific in ball screen play, can score at all levels. He kind of made some excuses for me. He said, why should Markelle Fultz get a pass on his Washington team not being very good? And everybody's criticizing Dennis Smith because, he didn't lead his NC State team to much of a year. Right. This kid can really play, and if he drops down to the...
Because this kid's got some real toughness.
It's explosive. And
some real explosion. In a screen roll game, which the NBA is now, he's very good at it.
Meanwhile, Frenchman Frank Ntilikina could fit the bill as well for the New York Knicks or for somebody else. Great length, good athlete for a point guard. Still in the thick of his French Pro A playoffs, by the way. This is a fascinating thing. He will fly back to France after the draft because he's got to play the decisive Game 5 for Strasbourg. That's his team over in France on Friday night. But if it's the Knicks or somebody else, what do they like about Ntilikina?
Well, look, if you know Phil Jackson, he likes big guards in that system. And Ntilikina is a big guard. They like him. I think this is the guy they're going to take if they keep the pick. They wind up keeping the pick. They've gone over there to see him a bunch of times. This guy, look, the easy comparison is to Dennis Schroeder, and he's not, I don't think, as quick as Dennis Schroeder, but he is
also bigger than Dennis.
Bigger, though, yes, and I think he can maybe make more of a consistent impact right away. Now, he's 18.
Right.
So even though he's been playing against men over in Europe, it's going to take him a while when he comes over here. The interesting thing also is that the Strasbourg team is coached by the same guy, Vincent Collet, who is the French national team coach. So he has extensive experience with Tony Parker and all the guys on that French team. So he's gotten some real good coaching over there that will help him make the adjustment quicker.
6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan for a point guard, and that fits the profile of a potential elite defender right away in the NBA, even if the scoring doesn't come immediately. We'll get into the Cavaliers. They may not have a pick tonight, but they may well be on the clock, if you know what I mean. We'll get into the East Champs situation when we come back.
bomb, I guess. I'm bringing it to UGB, which means my body's going to be made out.
You can't catch me, I'm a gingerbread man. It will be mine.
They got BTR coming up on the Intel.
Feeling the pressure, but you know I ain't stressing. Every day is a blessing, so I'm just gonna keep pressing. They say I am the greatest.
207059.
Introducing an all-new crossover, Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
You guys are ready! Oh, you guys are ready!
Ticket, please.
Of course, I got it right here.
There's nothing there.
It's loading. It takes a little bit. Just give me like a minute, guys.
Here's my ticket. It's starting. Mine works.
Bob realized his network coverage was a no-show. That's why he switched to Metro PCS, because he figured out he gets a network that's more reliable than ever, covering 99% of people in the U.S. Switch now and get 2 lines for only $50 period, plus 2 free Samsung Galaxy phones. Metro PCS, wireless figured out.
Canelo. Be bold.
Be bolder.
Whoa. Come on, Canelo. Be bold.
Be bolder as light.
You got it. Let me get in there. Tecate light. Or bold.
These two could be a problem. They can hit from anywhere.
They're going down.
Pretty amazing to just
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
that.
there's one of these.
These two could be a problem. They can hit from anywhere.
They're going down.
Kind of bullshit.
We got a plan for them.
Talk to an agent for help combining your home and auto into a plan that's right for you. Here to help life go right. State Farm.
Look. This is the new house we just bought. This way Daddy will make his famous waffles. If you have a bad dream, you can come to our room. Your mama snores. This is where you'll play and get grass stains in all your clothes. Look, it's already worth more. High five. Thank you. There it is.
You're not just looking for a house. You're looking for a place for your life to happen. Zillow.
The NBA's most likely wizard,
Kyrie Irving.
Start by saying
this series is over.
should I lock it in?
Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV.
Well, it's been an interesting week and a half or so for the three-time defending Eastern Conference champs who bowed out of the NBA Finals in 5 last Monday. Shortly after that, LeBron James released an Instagram post in which he showed off a newly shorn head. Make of that what you will. The team announced general manager David Griffin will be leaving the franchise after 3 years, they say by mutual agreement. But Griffin was in the process of putting together possible deals for Jimmy Butler and or Paul George when he was let go. Now, reportedly, Chauncey Billups is considering taking Griffin's place with the Cleveland Cavaliers and leaving his cushy TV job with ESPN.
Doesn't like cushy TV job.
Couple of things here, DA, when you think about the situation there. For one, I joked about this before the break, but the clock is clearly ticking with the reality that LeBron can walk away again next summer if he so chooses. Secondly, they don't have a GM. Kobe Altman is taking calls right now, but this comes at a time when you're ahead of the draft, even if they don't have picks, and just before the start of free agency. How tough a position are they in right now?
It's pretty tough, and not so much about the draft, because unless they get into the draft.
But people work around the draft.
Sure, because it's not just the draft. You're talking, there's going to be hundreds of guys who don't get drafted tonight, right? And with the new two-way contracts that are going in the NBA starting next year, you're going to want to sign guys that may make your roster next year that don't get drafted because they're going to be in the G League. Sorry. Now, as far as free agency goes and trades, that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's the problem for the Cavaliers.
All right, guys, they're close. I think you mentioned, right around that road soon.
They were well on the way. David Griffin was working on a deal for Jimmy Butler when he got dismissed or whatever you want to call it. So that kind of stops until they figure out if Chauncey Billups is going to take the job. Who does he bring in to help him? He's going to need somebody to help him make calls and things like that. So, yeah, it's a tough time because LeBron's clock is ticking.
Right.
And he's not patient about rebuilding. and he wants some structure in that front office that he can believe in and count on. And it's not that he and David Griffin were the best of friends, but he trusted David Griffin. He made some really good deals over the last couple of years to bring players in with not very much to work with that helped them win last year and get back to the finals this year.
And came out after some enemies on the southeast side.
I don't know what to call it. After it became apparent that Griffin wasn't coming back, came out publicly in support of David Griffin, basically saying, we appreciated you.
Right.
It seemed like a veiled shot at his ownership again and Dan Gilbert when he left. Guys, talk to me about the Cavaliers. Best case scenario this summer for them. What's realistic for them in terms of how they can remake a roster that just wasn't good enough to beat the Warriors?
Well, you know, guys, Brendan, they're a little bit, as a franchise, the Cavaliers are, they're a little bit landlocked. In other words, if you look at their roster and their salary, position right now, they only have two ways to really build their team or change their team. That's through trade and free agency. And given the fact that, they don't have a lot of assets that are tradable, mainly because most of their players are at such a high salary level that it's going to be difficult to move them, and they don't have the young assets to make people move them. Engaging in the trade market is going to be difficult. And in free agency, they're more or less looking at trying to attract free agents that will come and play for the Cavaliers at a lesser dollar. That's a tough position to be in, which really highlights the fact how much disarray this franchise is in terms of the timing of letting go David Griffin as he's working on a major trade. I just think they've put themselves in a little bit of a tailspin. Not that they're not a good team, because they still are a great team. But in terms of sustainability, chasing a championship, I think they've really hindered themselves with all this chaos.
I think the Cavs need to just step back and realize they're overreacting right now. They were just in the NBA Finals. And guess what? Even if they don't get any better, they're going to be in the NBA Finals next year. Of course, they want to try to add pieces, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, if possible. But let's be honest, those teams I do not think want to take on Kevin Love's salary, because when you trade your star, what do you want? You want young players, you want draft picks, you want expiring contracts. Well, the Cavs don't have that to give. They don't have any draft picks. All their contracts are running through a couple of seasons, so they don't have what these teams want. I don't see them making any real moves. They can't really get better through the draft. They just have to get better within, and hopefully that will be what it takes to win a championship.
Yeah, it's going to be tough there, guys. So all we're really looking at is the Cavs staying pat, and looking forward to a Golden State Cleveland Cavalier Part 4 next year.
And the rest of the league feels really sorry for the Cavaliers because their prospects are that they'll continue to dominate their conference. Right? It's the way it looks. We'll get you out to Barclays when we come back. It's Draft Night 2017.
Everybody dies by my hand.
Let's get two more. I blast the fuck out of dudes right here.
There we go. Still got it?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
For more taste, less calories, and half the carbs.
I got eyes on it.
There's only one
Seems
life
fairly
here.
clear, but I
Dylan,
can't see
switch your
anything.
group into the blue group. Side chain.
How do you do that?
Period and comma.
Grab.
Got it?
Yep,
Miller
right up. Yeah, because you're in global, which means you can talk to everybody on the server. People in blue can only talk to people in the blue group or below.
That makes sense, thank you.
Hold true.
I need a ride.
Listen, Peter.
You just get. Damn it. Now I need to pick up. Oh, fuck. There's a guy right in that house.
Which house?
The one that my body's in front of with the schematic.
But this does not mean you're an Avenger.
Mr. Stone is treating me like a...
The long one? Oh, I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm so sorry, dude.
I can't, but you are
I'm
a
very
kid.
sorry. Man.
Don't mess with me.
Ah, yeah, that was my bad. You got me mad antsy over here.
Here you go, bro. That's how we kill you and everybody you love.
They got it. Take that guy out.
I have to catch this guy, and nothing's gonna stop me.
Parker, my office.
Where should we things right.
Spider-Man Homecoming, ready to be
Man, if they sold these pretzel dogs at the stadium, everybody would love it. Yeah, premium pretzel bun with melty cheese sauce and crispy bacon here.
Oh, no thanks, I already got one.
The summer's biggest hit is the premium pretzel dog. This is how you Sonic.
I got it. I'm going.
Every team trains hard. Every team prepares to win. But when U.S. Army soldiers take the field, it's best if the other guys don't bother showing up. See if you have what it takes at GoArmy.com/team.
You think it's just 5 guys between you and that rim? Try 500.
Guys,
because for every guy you beat, there's
moving
100 more out there with your same fire, working on your same moves, all trying to steal your glory. So if you want to be the one and only, and not just one of many, give that extra ounce. It might just be the one that all the others don't. Gatorade. Rehydrate, replenish, and refuel.
We're done.
Tonight, the Barclays Center will
We're friendly, nigga.
an
Don't
event
shoot me.
that begins and is supposed to be about draft picks and some of the best in the country and around the world getting their opportunity to live their dream at the NBA level. But really, it has begun with
We're
trades
fucking
already
friendly,
that have happened and
dumbass.
those that are being
Oh
talked
my
about.
God.
And with that, we welcome you in. So pumped to have you for our coverage tonight on NBA TV. Casey Stern, the law firm of Smith and Smith. We got the Jets Committee, and then our news guru and everything else he tweets about down on the end in Seth Davis. So guys,
this is Smith and Davis.
Smith and Davis.
Yeah, that's a real firm right there.
Every law firm needs a good Jewish guy on it. Let me ask you guys about a lot of trade rumors regarding Kristaps Porzingis. We're here in New York. He was booed, Kenny, 2 years ago. Ends up being a great pick. What's your take on the idea that Phil wants to move him?
East side of
Well,
Ferris really
I mean,
low right
there's
now.
not a player other than maybe LeBron James, you know, a couple Russell Westbrook, a couple guys, Kevin Durant, that are not movable.
I'm with you, Keith.
You know, Kristaps is not a player that's saying not movable, but if you move him, you better have something in return that makes sense. Because you have to say, what is he, 22 years old? Is there another 22-year-old in the world that's 25 better than him? And if there's not, then you have the people. Because that's the valuation of the trade. At 22, can I get something that's equal value? And I don't know 5 bettors at 22 in the world that's better than him. So it better be a veteran or someone better than him at 22, and I can't name that guy right now. Maybe Cat Towns in Minnesota, and then after that, we have to move to Mars, Jupiter to find that person.
Well, that's where Phil might be sent if he trades Porzingis tonight. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler continues to be talked about, Smitty, including Minnesota. We know Tibbs loved him, Phoenix, Denver most recently now reported in on him. You think Jimmy Buckets gets moved tonight?
No, I don't. I think the one logical place is probably Minnesota because he has that relationship. You know, there was rumors about him going to Cleveland, and he said basically he didn't want to go. So I think if you're Jimmy Butler, he doesn't have a player option until 2019. Likely places Minnesota, but I think he stays in Chicago.
Seth, one of the guys that everybody seems to be shooting for, Josh Jackson. We thought he would go third. Now it seems like it's inevitable. Tatum goes there to Boston. How much should teams be looking at Josh Jackson and saying, that's a guy I have to get if I can?
you can make a case for Josh Jackson to be the first player selected tonight. I don't know that there's a huge amount of separation in those first 5 picks. So, like, when I look at this trade between Boston and Philadelphia, I think some Celtics fans are expressing consternation that they're not getting Markelle Fultz. I would take Fultz number 1. I'm not seeing a huge separation there. I think Tatum and Jackson are very close. I actually would favor Jackson because I think he has a little bit more of an upside athletically. For next season, this coming season, Jason Tatum's more prepared to make an offensive impact, but long term, I would give the edge to Josh Jackson. So I'm not completely 100% sold that it will be Tatum at 3.
Well, I'm happy to be here in general. 30th anniversary, too, for you, right? Getting drafted?
Oh, I didn't realize that, but where's my anniversary present?
We're working on it. Budget
Again, he's only 33. He's only 33 years old.
30 years, brother. 87, brother.
We will see you 7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll send you back to Atlanta. Matt and the guys continue to get you ready for Draft Night, live from Barclays. We continue with you.
Long time.
I called it. We would win again, and we did.
Yo, that was killing all of you fuckers. Killed like literally 7 of you in a row.
Brown sugar, smoked hickory.
It was like snuck up behind you and then like nuked 2 people and then just took shots like every fucking awesome. No one was looking.
What to consider when considering home security?
This isn't just a yard sign. It's a line in the sand.
Spraying and praying.
On one side, my family, and everything I worked hard for. And on the other, an uncertain world. I only want one company by my side, ADT.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else.
Get
ADT protection starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven. ADT. Always there.
The General is a strong, solid company that has provided low-cost auto insurance for more than 50 years. Their financial strength is excellent.
The monthly payments are low, and you can get immediate proof of insurance.
Get your anonymous online quote and ride with the General.
Yes.
I usually crash.
I want to be an up for
My game usually crashes at this point.
Hello, special.
Hello. For a great low rate you can get online, go to the General and say
How do you play Jets?
Introducing Laser X. It's the ultimate high-tech game of tag. Select team red or blue, or go rogue and blast anyone. With an unlimited number of players, you can play one-on-one or take on the whole neighborhood. You'll get pinpoint accuracy up to 200 feet. Best count your hits, and the blaster's power indicator shows you when to reload. And the interactive voice coach keeps you focused on the game. Laser X, inside or out, day or night. It's like a laser arena right in your backyard. You can get your best gear for 2 players for $49.99. Plus, we'll give you free shipping with 2 receivers and 2 blasters. It comes with everything you need to equip 2 players. You can check it out at getlaserx.com or text laser to today. That's laser to today. Additional sets sold separate. Batteries not included. Must be 18 years or older to order.
Top 5 power forwards available in the draft, according to our Scott Howard Cooper. And the list begins with Florida State's Jonathan Isaac, who DA mentioned earlier in the show, may be the player that the Spurs want to get into the top 10 to grab. Coach,
because then you'll actually win.
What is there to like about Jonathan Isaac at a top 10 pick?
I talked to Charlton Young. He's the assistant at Florida State that recruited him and coached him. He's had a lot of pros. He says this kid's special. He's got a special character. He's got a special game. He's got a different kind of length than a lot of players he's had. He can score at many levels. He makes other guys better on the floor. His biggest problem is physically he is not developed yet. He is not strong. He's got to put on some weight. He's got to put on some strength. And sometimes he defers offensively. He should be more aggressive of a personality, but he's got all the tools to maybe have as strong an upside as anybody in this draft.
Could be a good defender right away, folks say about Isaac, and a little bit of a jump shot as well. Lauri Markkanen from Arizona, great size at the power forward spot. What do teams like about him?
He's the best shooting big man by far in this draft. I mean, he can flat out shoot it. Plus, he shoots 83.5 from the line.
Right.
This is a guy that puts the ball in the basket. This kid works. He's 230 pounds. This is not a little guy. So he works at getting better. Look, he's not a great defender. Nobody's saying that. But what is this league about? Is this league about defense?
Nope.
No, it is not. It's about guys who can put the ball in the basket, and he can do that at an extremely high level.
Also will be the second Finnish player
Who's the
ever
first
to
one?
reach the
Who's the
NBA.
first one? Who is it? Who's the other one?
Hanno Metala.
You got it.
Nice.
You know what? I have a sentimental spot for Zach Collins out of Gonzaga because I like the post game, and this is one of the few prospects out there who has exceptional footwork and a real back to the basket game, even though he's very young and relatively inexperienced. What's your take on Zach Collins from Gonzaga?
I love Zach Collins just because I look at his size, I look at how he's able to run the court, and that's very important today. People say big men are dead. No, big men that can't move are dead. Guys like Zach Collins that have good length, that have good size, that can play above the rim, block shots, and still do things inside are an asset. He can be a dynamic roller to the rim, set good screens, play above the rim, a la Tristan Thompson. But at the same time, if he catches the ball in the roll, he can finish inside because he has an array of up and unders, and he has very good footwork. I love his upside. He didn't always get to play as much as some of the other guys, other freshmen might have played because of where he went. He had to play behind the hefty lefty in school. But at the end of the day, this kid is very, very talented. I think his upside is great. I think people are getting a steal, getting a discount on Zach Collins because he didn't get to play quite as much as some of the higher draft picks.
I agree. We can't hold it against him for not, beating out the hefty lefty.
Hey, it's hard to beat that guy out.
Yeah. But, no, when you talk about Zach Collins, the thing that I think about first is his mobility. And he's not just strictly a post player. I mean, he does have the ability to step out into the mid-range, take the ball a little bit off the dribble, shoot, that 15, 17-foot shot. He's also a poor man's rim protector, which I also like, and a pretty good shooter, shooting 74 from the free throw line. Future is bright for Zach Collins.
Bring back the big men, Zach. We need you, baby.
Hefty left.
By the way, Szymek Karnowski.
No, I didn't say the hefty. I didn't say the hefty left.
That's the guy you've been referring to that kept Zach Collins off the floor at Gonzaga for his freshman season. We'll hear from the commissioner, Adam Silver, when we come back on Draft Night.
Has made no secret about being open-minded to moving that pick for the right player.
It's the first hour before, during, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, Thursday. We're with you in Atlanta and from Brooklyn. Picture time to celebrate greatness.
Some Sixers fans have made their way to Brooklyn. They are all in on the process. Markelle Fultz already joining Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Hope is alive.
And now during the Kia Summers on Us sales event, you won't have to make any payments for 5 months.
Like the sound of that.
Yeah, I just think everyone should get more out of their summer.
Summer, huh?
And you get 0% APR for up to 66 months!
Get 5 months of freedom from payments at the Kia Summers on Us sales event. 0 payments for 5 months, 0% APR on select Kias. Sale ends soon, so hurry in this weekend. You're not mentioning to get 5 months no payments?
So if anyone has a reason that these two should not be wed, speak now.
So sorry. It's just that your friend Daryl here is supposed to be live streaming the wedding and he's not getting any service.
It was like the whole thing.
What?
And I just got an unlimited plan.
It's the right plan, wrong network. See, Verizon has the largest, most reliable 4G LTE network in America. It's built to work better in cities. Tell you what, just use mine, thanks. No problem. All right, let's go live. Say hi to everybody who wasn't invited.
When it really, really matters, you need the best network and the best unlimited. Just $45 per line for 4 lines.
We live on the edge.
I'm Ricky Risk.
We roll the dice and live with the consequences.
I'm nuts.
Have you seen the movie Risky Business?
I am literally Tom Cruise in socks and underwear.
All I do is win.
We're gonna make crazy money. Slide across. Wood floor. I've got a satin jacket in my closet says Risky Business. Are you getting the picture?
June 30th. This is a hernia mesh legal alert. If you experienced problems following a hernia repair, which resulted in the need for the removal of the surgical mesh, you may have a case. Defective or recalled hernia mesh products have been used during many surgical procedures nationwide since 2010. Financial compensation may be available if your hernia mesh was removed due to severe abdominal pain. adhesion or erosion of the hernia mesh, infection, allergic reaction, or other complications. Call now for a free consultation and case evaluation. It is not necessary to know what type of hernia mesh was used during your surgery. The lawyers at Science & Kirk can help. There are no fees or expenses unless a recovery is obtained. Don't wait. Call now to find out if you have a case.
Call 1-800-296-0368 for a free case evaluation. Call 1-800-296-0368.
That's it! The LA Sparks champion! This ain't a rival. Tell the entire truth and let it set you free. We undeniable. We undeniable.
We are less than an hour away from the Philadelphia 76ers going on the clock for the 2017 NBA Draft. Right now, let's take it inside back to Jared Greenberg, who caught up with the commish.
Welcome, Chris Silver joining us here. Thanks again for doing this. When you meet the prospects for the first time throughout the course of this week, is there a different message that you send to each group? Is this year unique from past groups?
Well, the main message is welcome to the NBA, of course. And this is a life-changing experience. They're there with their families. It's a reminder to keep things in perspective. It's also a reminder that none of them got here alone. And they have coaches with them, parents, siblings, friends. So it's a little bit welcome to the NBA family. In terms of the message this year, every year does feel a little bit different. And I think talked a little bit about the business this year, talked about how well we're doing in terms of ratings, finals, sort of what social media means to this league. Increasingly, that's a conversation I'm having with the guys.
So many guys who were going to consider the one and done for that last season. It brings up the conversation that you were having during the finals about that there is no perfect solution just yet. Do you feel from the finals to now you're any closer to finding that solution?
I don't necessarily think I'm closer, but I continue to learn a lot more about the issue. For example, last night I was at the dinner here in New York for the NABC, National Association of Basketball Coaches, where they honored Mike Krzyzewski from Duke. And I spoke to him before the ceremony, but he chose during his speech to talk about the issue. And he reaffirmed what I've been saying, which is the current system isn't working well for anyone. I mean, his view is we should move more toward a baseball type rule where when you're 18 you can come directly to the NBA. But if you don't come in then, you're then you in essence locked in for
3 years.
He was recommending 2 years.
Sure.
I think that's a possibility. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, and also, of course, we would need the union's agreement. What I want to add to the conversation is, to me, it's not just about 19 or 18 or 19 or 20. I think it's clear we have to intersect with these players at a younger age. And I was talking to some of the players here tonight about that, meaning roughly when they're about 14, that's when the recommendation is that they first be specialized. I think physically, what doctors are saying is they should be multi-sport athletes before then. But around 14, I think we, the NBA, need to be more involved in youth basketball in terms of ensuring that these players are developing in the right way, and that's emotionally, physically, and skill-wise.
Commissioner, it's been about a week and a half since there's been a basketball game, but yet every single day of the offseason, the number one story in sports is the NBA. Did you ever see this coming, that it's truly now a year-round sport?
I'll never claim I saw anything coming. I'm always wary of trying to predict the future.
Yeah.
I only say that what I did see coming, one of my old jobs was running NBA Entertainment, and we were early adopters to digital media, to social media, and we embraced it. And we love the community out there of people, whether they're tweeting or they're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform, you name it. It's been fascinating to me to give an outlet to fans and to our players as well. It's to the traditional media like yourself, and it's the fans. But as I was talking to some of the players earlier tonight, they're active participants. As there's consideration of players getting traded, for example, some of the things we're reading the last week, they're engaging directly in the conversation. So it's fascinating, and it's fun. It's engaging, and it keeps people interested.
I think you actually just called me old school by saying traditional media. I think that's a compliment. I think.
No, well, you and me, old school.
Yeah. Do you pay attention, though, to some of these crazy rumors we're hearing about?
I pay a lot of attention to them. In some cases, I'm often calling our basketball operations department league office and saying, can that even happen under our CBA? And often the answer is no.
Right.
Despite the fact the rumor is out there, it cannot happen. Under our collective bargaining agreement. I think in terms of other rumors, I mean, there's the fan in me, and sometimes I read them and I say, really? I can't even imagine that's a deal a team would want to do. And then I follow on social media, I hear some of the scuttlebutt. In some cases, I'll pick up the phone and call a team for confirmation, either that is there something the league office should be doing because somebody's being put in a bad light, and for example, on a possible trade that we know can't happen under our rules. So, but for the most part, I'm a bystander.
Well, what's the determining factor for you to pick up the phone?
The determining factor is that if there is something that I think the league can do to help the situation. I mean, in some cases, it's even with our relationships with the media where, according to sources, and sometimes the source, it will say league office, which I've learned can mean a lot of different things.
You have a big office.
But what I've also learned is the protocol league office also means really any office in the league, including teams. And sometimes what we can do as the commissioner's office or the league is go on the record. I mean, so there can be all these rumors off the record, say on the record, this cannot happen. This is, our CBA would not allow us, those kinds of things.
Last thing for you, Commissioner. During the NBA Finals, in a chat you had with the Washington Post, you challenged the other teams to try and be great as well. And there's been so much buzz about trades and also front office conversations in Cleveland, what you have, what's going on the last couple of days here in New York. Are these actions that are happening or rumored to be happening, are they steps that you want to see to make these teams great, or is there concern?
Look, in fairness to these teams, they didn't need me to challenge them to be great. From our owners on down, these are the most competitive people in the world. Our owners compete every day in business. They compete to have championship basketball teams. They compete in their cities to have the best arenas. And then GMs, coaches, players, etc. I think what you're seeing here is a desire to compete. And, well, there may be some moaning and groaning that Golden State is just too good or Cleveland looked too good. They quickly get that out of their system. And then just the reason they're so successful, again, top to bottom, these organizations, is they sit down and say, what are our options? We want to get better. We want to get better quickly. They look to trade players. They look at coaches. They look at general managers. It's naturally just what happens in the league. They didn't need the encouragement from me.
Commissioner Silver, thank you so much for all the time.
Yeah, thanks,
Good luck tonight.
Yep.
Gentlemen, thank you both. They are lined up for Draft Night 2017 just around the bend. Our coverage continues here on NBA TV.
On the roof!
Hey, everyone. I can keep this suit?
Of course. Doesn't fit me.
You want the real Avengers?
Don't mess with me, because I will hurt everybody you love.
I just gotta do this on my own.
Spider-Man Homecoming, July 7th. Rated PG-13.
Have you ever looked for a hotel online? Did you notice that there are so many different prices out there for the exact same room? Well, Trivago does the work for you and instantly compares the prices of over 600,000 hotels from over 200 different websites. Instead of searching for hours or spending too much, Trivago makes it easy for you to find the ideal hotel for the best price. Trivago shows you all the different prices for the exact same room. And that's how you can be sure that you find your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
I joined the Army in July of '98. I did active duty 11 years and 2 in the reserve.
Our 18-year-old was in an accident. When I call USAA, it was that voice asking me, is your daughter okay? That's where I felt relief. It actually helped to know that somebody else cared and wanted to make sure that I was okay. That was really great.
We're the Rivera family, and we'll be with USAA for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Call today to talk about your insurance needs.
Dear Journal, today I learned many great things. 1. Old Spice Sweat Defense gives me 48-hour sweat protection. 2. Gorillas have strong muscles and do not speak English.
Cricket has something epic for you. We've got more 4G LTE coverage than T-Mobile or Sprint. Switch now and get a brand new smartphone for free. Plus, you can get a $50 bill credit even if you don't need a phone. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
It's 1 a.m. and you're still awake. You're worried about a wide-scale breach, hoping you're secure. Hope isn't a security strategy. Effectiveness is. Hope will protect this seal against shark attacks. Lights out, seal. What if the seal can track the shark's every move? See where it hunts, where it lives. Vanish the seal. Cisco gives security. They built it. Now, well, no big deal. They're building the most effective security architecture on the planet, which means you can get nice sleep.
These young guys playing remarkably cool. There's got to be some butterflies in there. How many of them do you think really know where they're going?
Oh, I'd say most of them have an
inkling, right?
Yeah. Strong, especially in a lot.
Right, but as we know, stuff happens.
Stuff does happen.
Things change.
Right? They do, but not, usually not. It's not like football. Sometimes, you don't have to be like an Aaron Rodgers situation in the NBA where like 25, right. That doesn't usually happen. There's some stuff.
And occasionally a guy taking a trade he did not see coming, so he has to have who in your mind is the best value pick, as we like to say at the NBA in this draft?
Well, I think Josh Jackson does a lot of different things on the court, and he's a real tough kid. He's a winner. Looking at that picture of those kids, it just reminds me, these guys have been hanging out together for 4 or 5 years. They've been in gyms all over the country competing against one another, and they dream that someday they get to this point. And in about a half hour, it's going to happen for a bunch. I'm very excited for those kids.
Brandon, Stu, I get the sense you both agree that Markelle Fultz is the best talent available in this draft. Who's number 2 in your mind? Not number 2 pick. Who's the second best player to come out of this draft?
Yeah, for my liking, it's really Josh Jackson, just because he's a versatile player who can defend, he can score. I think he'll get better as a shooter, but he's a guy you don't have to run a play for. In the NBA, that's just so valuable. And on top of that, he's got the ability to make others around him better. I really just like his talent skill. The second best player in the draft to me, De'Aaron Fox. When I look at this kid, I look at a guy that has the natural athleticism that you need. He's that next level athlete. He has a gift that most don't have. You can't teach it. And at the same time, he already has an accomplished mid-range game. He has all the heroes steps. And so when you look at that, he's just as fast as John Wall. His mid-range game, his individual scoring way ahead of where John was coming out of Kentucky. I think De'Aaron Fox is the second best player in the draft.
All right, guys, in the tech world, we hear about companies that disrupt technology. Who's the team that has the best opportunity to disrupt the draft tonight?
Boston, of course, and then Portland with 3 first-round picks. Somebody is going to want at least 2 of those 3. So
we'll be here for you post-draft. In the meantime, we'll take you to Barclays Center. Live coverage throughout the draft tonight, starting at 7 Eastern Time, which is right about now. Casey Stern, Steve Smith, Kenny Smith, and Seth Davis have you covered from Barclay. Guys.
It is the site of the NBA Draft 2017 presented by State Farm, and also the site for what could be one of the more memorable drafts that we've had in the history of the NBA when you consider the trades, the rumblings of big players on the move, including some in the hometown, and these draftees changing the fortunes of franchises across the board. They'll pack in, they'll be excited, the energy will be hot, and that's just here on set. We expect it'll be good behind us as well. Welcome to our coverage here on NBA TV. Casey Stern, the law firm of Smith and Davis. We got Kenny the Jet, Smitty, and Seth down on the end. Guys, the energy in the building is going to get pretty pumped up. What are you looking forward to most, Kenny, in this draft?
Well, probably the one thing that I'm looking forward to most is just the reaction. This is a life-changing experience. There's never again in your basketball career you will have this anxiety, because when you were picking a college, you control that. When you become a free agent, you control that. This is the first time that you have no control of where you're going, and the anxiety will never be matched ever again in your life. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing these young men explore this new opportunity and be part of this new culture.
You know, Smitty, there's also so much pressure on these franchises. Just 2 years ago, and we'll get into it a bit with Porzingis, you think of guys, we all decide who is going to be the next great player and who's going to be the next Koncak or Odin or somebody else. A lot of pressure on these organizations.
There's nothing wrong with Koncak. Don't throw him in there.
Saying.
Why you throwing Koncak in there like that?
I played with
Koncak.
Too soon, bro.
Yeah,
Too soon for Koncak.
You know, for me,
Shaq told me to get that in there, so I got it.
I'm looking at this as we find out which organizations are trying to win right now. You start to look at who they pick, who they're trading. That's for me to see which organizations are for real going forward and their plan, what they're trying to do by their picks and who they trade tonight.
Seth, these kids are all talking about the nerves. They wait to get here. We're going to see a couple of 4-year standouts, but again, another year where a lot of kids who are one and done are going to get their opportunity to get to the big show.
Yeah, the big number tonight is 19. That's the age of most of the top 15 picks. And, you know, if you look at all these so-called mock drafts around the internet, they seem to be pretty settled. And it feels like it's a night where we're not going to have a lot of surprises, which means I think we are going to have a lot of surprises. And the reality is precious few of these players picked tonight are going to have an impact on an NBA team this coming season. Look at this past year. Outside of maybe Malcolm Brogdon, you didn't have a lot of first-year guys.
The 60th pick.
There you go. and a lot more of these first-rounders spent time in the D-League than had an impact on their NBA team. So when you're going to pick a 19-year-old kid in the top 15, that's what you have to expect. They're long-term picks as opposed to instant help.
Let's talk expectations, because if you're watching us tonight during our coverage, you can expect that we'll be talking a lot about the picks as they come in, analysis. We'll have interviews with some of the players. We've got our own capologist here. We've got social networking involved. This will be the place to be. But if you do want to hear Commissioner Adam Silver announce the picks, you'll be able to do that throughout the course of the evening over on ESPN. Pick who has announced 30.
But why go there when you could just talk to us all night?
What he said. Now, 30 years ago, I think they had this on TV at the time. Kenny, did they?
Come on, brother.
Was there TV?
Come on, baby.
What do you remember?
Over-the-air TV.
I remember that I had that nice green suit. I still have it. I could still fit it.
Yeah, you fit into
and
it.
And I get that gold tie. It's bronzed up, baby. But I think walking that stage for the first time, you know, it's obviously a dream that you thought about. But it's a surreal moment because you don't think about all the things. And funny thing about putting that Sacramento hat on, it was the only team that it was one of the few teams I didn't go see. So I was surprised that they took me at 6 because I hadn't gone there. And Bill Russell said, I didn't need to interview you. I just need to see you play on tape, and I knew enough. So it was great opportunity, great. The number one pick today, and it's been a lot of thing about Markelle Fultz being the number one pick. And for me, just as my personal opinion, I just feel not as a better player, but a better fit would be Ball in Philadelphia and Markelle in LA. LA needs scoring. You know, so to me, I would play, I have Embiid, I have Simmons, I would have ball movement, I would have guys who can do. I just think that that's a better fit for Ball, Philadelphia.
You're saying right now, Kenny, but if you're the Lakers and looking at what they're trying to do in the future, the Paul George and all those guys they're trying to acquire.
But if I'm Ball, I want to go to Philly. I want to play with Embiid and Simmons. I wouldn't have wanted to go to the Lakers with, obviously you got Magic Johnson who's at the helm, but I don't know what there is. I know that Embiid is going to be a superstar, not a star.
So you're saying if you're Philadelphia and you're the GM of the Sixers,
I would take
you would take Lonzo
Ball. I would take Lonzo Ball.
One of the reasons they're not going to do that is because they feel Ben Simmons, again, he's going to be their LeBron, their guy who facilitates ball in hand. They think Fultz, who can play one-on-one, he's a great isolation player, they think he's going to be the guy that will have the ball.
But when are you going to play isolation when the ball is in Ben Simmons' hands? You can't. So you need a guy who can play off the ball like he did at UCLA with Bryce Alford and shown that he could do that even when he played.